line. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet, not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Crank it up.
It is a track many know for its illustrious history and its breathtaking views. It is the place known as the Brickyard. Welcome to GOAT Racing League's first ever showcase at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway here live on PTM Racing TV. And we welcome you race fans all across the nation, all across the track plains and fields of the Midwest to the outskirts into the Carolinas and the Floridians to our Californians to the Washington coast. Welcome to the track, to the show. It's time to get ready here on Pizza Race TV for our action-packed adventures that lay in wait with the GOAT Racing League. Hi everyone, I am Christian Shriver, the Crusader, joining you guys here tonight as we are currently ready to whip them off around and bring some speeds up to bay. Drivers right now completing and finalizing their final laps around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the 2.5 mile long oval here as they continue to move their way through the chains and move their way out on the track. A who's host of drivers getting ready to go for broke and go for big here. Many top level guys, many big level names here ready to see what they can bring to the table here in these next gen cup cars here, the Gen 7s if you will. And a few names you may recognize here throughout the show and throughout the race today. Definitely going to be an interesting little showcase here as we get ready for the action ahead. Before we get to that though, it's time to take a look at our track tech talk for the evening here. On the start of this one, of course, we will be looking at the overall presentation of this here. This is going to be a 2.5 mile long oval. The Brickyard there, as you see, it will be where the finish line resonates. It was once paved under bricks, and it was once paved with the fastest and the toughest speeds around before the asphalt concrete came in. But its legacy still lives on as IndyCar's fastest and baddest track of them all, the place for the Indy 500. But today, we get a little bit of that Brickyard 400 love here as the next gens from GOAT Racing League will bring it to the stage. So let's get it started and get them on the pole. We'll bring it down with the number 88. That will be Michael Strickland. There's outside the 05. That's going to be Kay McClenny. Row number 2. That's going to be the 47. That's Joseph Grjavala. I'm going to say right now some of these names are going to be hard, so I'm apologizing in advance. I'm going to say Joseph Gravala on that one. His outside will be the 12. That's Aaron Jackson. Row number 3 is going to be Bill Hales, and the 53 is outside. That is Joshua Brock in the 78. Row number 4, that will be piloted by the 18. That is Cameron DeRue. And his outside, that will be the 24. That is Cody Sturgill. Row number 5 is Robert Dudley, and the 49 is outside is the 5, Nathan Bogart. Row 6, that's Brandon Burkhart, and the 83 is outside the 23. That's Charles Van Schiek. Hope I said that last name right. Row number 7. Well, that'll be piloted down by Russell Ottaway. And the 89's outside is Ricky Udding. I'm going to say Udding on that one. Excuse me. Row 8 will be Brad Dove. And the 25 is outside is the 8. That is going to be Maurice Burnett. And row number 9, that will be Mark Roetgen. Again, make it clear, make it obvious here, guys. If I say your last name wrong, just come talk to me later. His outside will be the 94 is Justin Reynolds. Final starters here in row number 10, that will be the 95 of Sean Burks is outside. That will be piloted down by Mr. Christoph Hall in the 98. Row number 11 then is Doug Ezel in the 67. Richard Crane will be in the 36. And finally, Mike Robinson, Shaggy, will be in the number 23, rounding out your field. The bright skies under Indianapolis, Indiana's hotbed in summertime. The Indianapolis Motor Speedway is about to come to life. With a who's who of drivers and a who's who in this field ready to go for it all and go for broke here. It'll be interesting to see who can bring the most speed and the most attention on the track. A lot of openings and a lot of angles to really take from and look at clearly. But coincidentally as well, got to really pay attention to where you're going for, and where you're going for your spots. Might be a few times throughout the race where you see some drivers maybe just getting a little too ahead of themselves, a little too all over the place. Put themselves in a bad spot and ended up having a troublesome race out of it. And, you know, something we haven't really been able to fully test yet is this next gen Cup car going to really be able to handle mass and actually give us quite a race here on this Indianapolis 500 track. Again, this 2.5 mile long track is more known for the days of the Indy 500, but that Brickyard 400 for a long time was a crown jewel event in all of NASCAR, for the simple fact of it was a huge antithesis and a place full of rich history and wealth to win that race. These drivers now get to feel that and then some, as they'll bring him down that front straightaway along to the GOAT Racing League starting zone. It's time to begin the race at Indy. 23 drivers have made the call. We'll send them on down through turn number 1 for the early going. 90 laps the distance here, and these Gaben 20 will already be on the shot for the 88 on Michael Strickland. McClenny getting up ahead. Strickland will have to find a way to get back at him here late into the run. Down that back straightaway, they'll fire them through the corners, down the ends. Every driver following in line. This is the draft train we're going to talk about a lot throughout this race. A lot of guys will be kind of focusing in on those and watching for their placements and time. This is not a battle of trying to get yourself as close as you can to being double-sided in this race as you would any other track with the big banks and the high ovals. No, this is a track that is going to be all about one thing: pace, timing, and execution. You as a driver are going to have to find a way to not only outlast this car, but you've got to outlast everyone else. Performance extremely high, and keeping speeds up is an extremely big shot. Some drivers we have seen before, though, making a little bit of a comeback, as you heard me say in the nicknames here in the intro. Dudleyville Dudley in that 49, making a return after slamming a few people through the tables and getting himself back out on the car. He's finally back with us in the Next Gen Cup Series for the first time. And it looks like he's about to go one-on-one real quick here with Cody Sturgill in that 24. Sturgill, we've seen him before here on Pete Smith's TV. Great to see him back out here and try to put on a show. Driving the lead of that Star Wars Chevrolet Camaro today. Nice little piece of equipment. Definitely liking the look of it and liking the look of the battle going on right now as they'll take it side by side here down that front straightaway for a minute. But the draft train tells all and shows all. Dudley can't quite get around him just yet. Now has to perform the run to the bottom. Trying to cut the 24 down a little bit, force him to wear out that right front and the right rear tire set to then get a grip of the track. Right rear is going to be extremely crucial here, as that is what's going to pretty much keep these cars under control through the turns. So you're not going to see a lot of guys trying to push their momentum too quick. You're going to see a lot of guys kind of being a little bit more suspicious and a little more aware of their surroundings and more controllative of their momentum and their occasions here. They've got to be very, very on point, on shot, and target with what they're up to and what they're up against. That is going to be the biggest dilemma you're going to see a lot of guys dealing with today. Great blimp cam here, view of a crowd of over 100,000 in attendance, and also the battle laying ahead of us here in front of our stands here. You see, this is the battle for third between Mr. Grijavala. I'm just going to say Joseph G. I'm sorry, Joseph. Joseph G. and then Cameron DeRue, Aaron Jackson, and even Joshua Brock kind of lean in. But the two up ahead right now, your front runners, is Michael Strickland and Cade McClenny. McClenny making that serious pass there off the first lap, making ahead of the 88 Mountain Dew machine. Both Camaros are looking strong in the early going, but it's currently McClenny that holds the keys to the power. In the back of the pack, though, there is still some movement coming forth and some battles coming through. Sean Burke in the 95 going head-to-head here with Brad Dove in the 25 here, right up ahead of him. Ford versus Chevy matchup. This is something you're going to see a lot of, just like you would see in any other kind of form of racing on this kind of track. You don't really get too much of that huge draft off, that huge push, or really that huge occasion of a pass. You see a lot of it more done on the back and the front straightaways. The turns are basically designed to force your driver and force yourself to have to execute properly and perfectly in order to not get ramped up and burn tires up quickly. Without tire, you have no grip and you have no control. These drivers are extremely well aware of that, diverse in this position and performing at a high level pace, and they know what they have to do. Well, down the back half, we're shooting out a little bit right now. Ricky Utting in the number 2 Pepsi-Cola machine. Chevrolet going to bring it up to Brandon Burkhart in that 83. Brandon Burkhart right now currently holding down the 12th slot here. Utting trying to get a run to him and trying to see if he's got something for it here in that fast lane racing number 83 Ford Mustang. Nathan Bogart, the number 5 Ford F-150, bringing his National Guard machine out onto the track as well, putting up a great performance here in the early going as he continues to fight not only the track but the drivers ahead of him. Everyone looking pretty solid and pretty clean here in the early going, but you can hear just that throttle rhythm Bogart is trying to do. This is something you'll hear a lot. A lot of guys will try to keep as much power and speed to these corners and to these turns as they will and they please, but here's the problem. Making too much of that momentum and getting too much of those RPMs to kick up. Once that tire starts to go down and fades away, one wrong move and that rear end kicks out from you. It's a rear-ended drive, a rear-ended set, very difficult to master, very difficult to really perfect and crone on the craft. Only the best may be able to do it and be able to figure it out on a timely manner, and that is what these guys are watching constantly throughout these turns and throughout these cornerings. Not quite at lap number 10 yet out of this race. We got 90 laps of the distance, and you can just see already a lot of guys kind of separating out. The pack's starting to be separated a bit too. It's getting to be very tough here. Cameron DeRue right now moving it up to Joseph G here in the 47. Joseph staying right on track to catch Strickland here. Looks like he might have a glimmer of speed and some power coming through late into the run, but look at the time here by Strickland. Strickland set the fastest time so far at a 52.505 on lap number 4. That's a pretty clean and pretty far lap there in between these guys. But even then, you could just see those 2 laps, the amount of wear and tear already that it did on that car and on that position. McClenny was just outsmarting him by just forcing him to have to drive harder and a little bit quicker just to catch him. That was a very, very bold risk, but a bad strategy in my opinion. But again, it is early, so I could be just shooting the wrong position up, and I may be finding myself in a bad spot later on. May have to eat my words. Number 98, Home Depot machine, Chevrolet Camaro. That is Christoph here, moving a great job off around, catching there to the 94, Justin Reynolds. Reynolds right now continuously staying pace, staying true to his speed and his word. As the old saying goes, you got to keep him on sometimes, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's keeping everybody at bay and keeping it right on control in the top 15. But again, Christoph, I don't think is going to be waiting too much longer to start making some runs on him. Now, race fans, I do know we have not been able to really be with these guys the entire season, and we know we haven't been able to actually even see them racing it out, but believe it or not, they actually are in a bit of a heated battle when it comes to their championship hopes, their championship racing action here. And we'll take a quick look at that right here and now on TV and see where we are in terms of scope and the playoff standings here. Waiting on our folks to get the link here as soon as we can. I guess we did. I guess they forgot to put we forgot to put our papers in here as well when we were at it today, folks. My bad. There we go. We finally got it here. So currently, right now, as we stand. In this bracket, in this format here, the top drivers are as followed, which include Michael Strickland, your #1 seed entering into this race, of course at 88. I mentioned earlier on, making a bit of a mistake there, getting a little bit too hard on the throttle to catch McClenny, although I think I might be eating those words already because he's already your points leader entering in. But Aaron J. Jackson was second place here, only down by 1 point, both drivers at 670 and 669 respectively. Joseph G, the guy behind there in the 47. He currently holds the moniker in third, but out by a points-wise at 588. Bit of a lonesome gap and a lonesome spot to be put into, but that can easily change when entering into the playoff section of these races. And I think that's really the one thing he is focusing highly on. Fourth spot being Charles Van Schaik there. Charles right now currently in the 7th spot here. Charles Van Schaik. Yeah, Schaik. Schaik or Shake? Producers, you got to help me out here once in a while. I can't quite catch all of them right, and I know I'm messing up on a lot of these names. So, of course, Stowe there as well. Then Sean Burke, not too bad doing for himself here. He currently holds in the top 5 progression. He's at currently 536 in the points with 533. Then Cameron D. Diro. Christoph Hall though in that 504 point standing right now, currently hanging top 10. Cody Sturgill with the 469 and Nathan Bogart at 458. Then Bud Scher is currently at 455 to kind of round out on that end and on that front, which is pretty interesting to see just how far we have come and how far these guys have kind of branched out from their track position in the performance. And that has been your top 10 so far. In terms of the standings here, locked in the playoffs too, Joseph Gajavala has currently locked himself in. Michael Strickland as well is locked. Justin Reynolds, Sean Burke, Cody Sturgill, and Bud Share. They are locked in with the system and the format. Everybody else right now still in a heated little battle. In the back of the pack here on those playoffs here, of course, Bill Hayes. Bill Hales is currently about 8 points back. Philip Schmitz, Ricky Utting, and Michael Coffrey here. And Michael Coffrey currently is on the lone man out in terms of scope with the top 16, currently in the 20th position. Needs to really start dialing it up a bit more and start figuring it out late into the series and into the show. He'll have his hands full though, for sure, going through later in this progression and later through these fields here. And that is how our playoffs stand at the moment as the rest of your field continue to strike along and kind of stay in top performance and top position. You can see though the cars are starting to slow down just a slight bit here on some ends. The 78, Joshua Brock going to give way for Charles Van Schaik. Charles Van Schaik may be able to wick a roar around there in that Ford Mustang machine. He gets a 23 right up ahead of Joshua Brock in that Furniture Row 78 machine. And yes, that is the same Furniture Row scheme that you saw Martin Truex Jr. pull off his illustrious championship run in. And that 78 car with Furniture Row Racing. One of the all-time feel-good stories in his own right. Sadly, this season, though, has not quite done the same as he would like to. A tough deal for him, but nevertheless here, as we've always said, always another year and another system to really work around. Charles Van Schaik right now looking to the inside, though, of Aaron Jackson. Jackson a little hard into the throttle, a little hard off the exit. You saw him getting a little bit too loose, but it's not going to matter too much now. Caution flies out. Maurice Burnett troubles down there. And Burnett in the number 8, you see coming to a dead stop. Smoke out of the car. That's not a good sign. Initiate the launch sequence to the PTM instant replay. Let's take a look at this. While we talk about how difficult it is around here at Indy, well, this is a good sign and a tell for you, folks. One slip up, one mistake, and that will cost you. And the Caterpillar number 8 Camaro, I found out that the hard way. Look at this. Came off pit road, ready to enter back onto the track, was building speed up. And then a little slick up there, and I said before, I'll say it again, you don't want to make it hard on yourself with those tires. And he even got a 36 in there as well. Richard Crane getting taken for a huge hit there. Unfortunately, got whacked, if you will. Whoa, and he not only got whacked, he also destroyed the right front tire after that hit. So now he's going to have to try to limp his way back into pit road, and that's not going to help him at all. That's going to be a tough deal here. And a tough break, to say the least. Yeah, you can see as soon as that happened, that car was absolutely tore up, and there really wasn't much else he could do. What a tough break. For the number 36 of Richard Crane, came out here and qualified in the 22nd position. And unfortunately not able to make it through to the end here, unfortunately. What a tough break, though. Well, now here comes the big part here. Pit road stops. This is going to be where things get a little interesting here. We're going to see a lot of strategies thrown their way and throwing their mark. See who can get out first and who can get out quickest here. Top 3 on your brackets here, but coming out first, Aaron Jackson will bring the 12 out first, and McClenny will follow back behind here. Looks like the 23 of Charles Van Schaik is going to go in there. And Strickland will get the 88 into the 4th slot. 5th coming out will be Cameron DeRoe. Cameron DeRoe managing to make a great job on that 18 M&M's Toyota Tundra, or Toyota Camry. I probably am going to get someone calling me out for that one. So looks like a mixed mash of a hodgepodge, if you will, in terms of cars with the sponsors and as well as the manufacturers 2 Fords, 2 Chevys, and 1 Toyota in that top 5 bracket. Meanwhile, the Fords and Toyotas actually kind of holding up a majority as well, with the top 10, and then a couple Chevys kind of mixed and trickled in there. So very interesting development here. We saw the Chevys dominating pretty quick there out of the gate, but it looks like the Fords might have something to say about that. Field's now going to be put into perspective here. It looks like some pit road stops here for some of these guys. McClenny, Strickland will be your 2 front runners now as they'll lead them off back down across the track here. This should be an interesting one. Field back on track, racks stacked and ready to get put back on the attack. We field them down through corner number 4 this time on by, and it's time to let them loose yet again. Down the illustrious front straightaway here and the center stage. Drivers ready to approach the speeds and ready to approach the track. Fans back on their feet, ready to see this one. As the green flag flies back on out, we're back underway. Mike Wayne Robinson saying, and that will be the stage 2 coming up. I didn't even know we were having those stages here, man. Well, at least if we have any of the ghost cautions that I call usually, then at least I know that's not a ghost caution, that is actually a speed caution. So stage 1, I guess, put into the books here, and field will work their way on around here. We got a 4-5 car battle, almost insinuating a 3-wide salute here. The 89 of Russell Ottaway here making a great fight back from the field. Looking from the outhouse to join to the White House camp. He's currently moved 5 spots up. Started 13th, moved into 8th. Now back to 10th here as the drivers field into the draft. Hard to get past into that corner and hard to get through the traffic. The battle's intensifying back there as they are up here right now. Cade McClenny, 05. Going back out of Michael Strickland in the 88. Meanwhile, the 18 of Cameron DeRue moving the chains right in with him. Joseph G trying to keep his momentum at bay and keep himself under control as we're about to see some bump and running here. Not quite though, not quite able to get McClenny loose enough here. Strickland having to back off, stick with him. Mike Wayne Robinson coming on board, he'll saying we are racing to lap 46, which is the end of stage 2. Good to know, sir. Very good to know indeed. Blasting around. Oh, hold on down there. Looks like some troubles for the 89. Russell Ottaway a little bit loose from corner number 1. problems down there getting into that position. Almost found himself trapped between a rock and a hard place. Mandated to avoid, though. Take a good look at the entire sanctuary, the entire landscape of this beautiful facility, this beautiful track. And no, your eyes do not deceive you as well. There is actually an Indy road course that is made here and a track here as well. So that sharp right corner down there as well, that is pretty much the that's Indy road course turn number 1. As we've known and talked about before, the Indy road course having its own little place in merit, not only with IndyCar, but with NASCAR drivers too. Although maybe not for all the best reasons compared to the Brickyard 400, I would say. Coming right out. Oh, a little bit close there. Christoph Hall in the 98 almost going for a little ride there as the caution flies. We've got problems. Huge problems down there. Charles Van Schaik and Mark Rodingen unfortunately colliding together. The minds have met on the back straightaway. And that 76 of Rodingen appears to have taken the most damage out of that one, unfortunately. That will put us back to a dead stop. Mike, I'll get more into that conversation in just a moment. Let's take a look at the replay here and see what happened here on the front straightaway. This was a huge little spot to be thrown into and a bad area to be thrown down at. Oh, man. Got loose, and I talked about it earlier, but this is that problem we're going to see a lot of drivers facing this. Again, when the equipment starts to fail and you don't have the tire anymore underneath you, that rear end, it kicks out, and you have no control of wherever you can go sometimes. It's extremely difficult to master, and that snap lock steering, well, frankly, in my opinion, it doesn't help very much either. What a tough break there between Rodingen and Schaik. One more look at it. There, right there. You see it right there. Right rear goes out a little bit. He's trying to save it. There's that snap lock steering. Tries to turn it in. And it just sends him into the 23. Gosnard, second caution of the day to pop on out, unfortunately. Great camera work, by the way, from our little drone cam down there. Good work, producers. Hold on one moment. Getting word our technical difficulties expert has put up the sign here. He wants to fix that, whatever is going on. But producers, how many times have we got to do this? There we go. I think, no, we definitely didn't get it fixed. We'll just leave it for now. Coming out of pit road, looks like it will. Well, I was going to say it was going to be McClunny, but Strickland decided not to hold himself back there. The 88 managing to jump ahead of the 05, so they will join and regain position here as your top three will be now Joshua Brock, Nathan Bogart, and Robert Dudley. Depending on whether or not they stay out is going to be another question. It'll be interesting to see here as the field gets worked back into the field and everyone comes back from pit road. Mike making a great point, though, as well. He said in the chat, let's not forget that that road course was built for Formula One. Yes, so the story goes there is that Tony Holman had created and helped manufacture a lot of what we now know as the safety improvements here with the safer barriers for IndyCar, but also that then would get translated over into our racing world of NASCAR. But he also, when he was working with Indianapolis Motor Speedway, he also, or Tony George, I'd say, not Tony Holman, Tony George had also then began working on a possible road course to attract Formula One. Because Formula One, as we all know, is extremely popular and big now nationally and globally, so it wanted to try to bring that market into the United States. Many fans had clamored and hoped for it and wished for it, and they had gotten their wish. And really, 2 years in, they had seemingly got everything set and ready to go and made an impressive little race series out of it. It made some great showcases as well. With some crazy finishes like the Ferraris really going off into the distance on the front straightaway, just really side by side to a strong finish. However, there also is kind of the bad side of that Indy road course, and I'm not talking about literally the NASCAR in on their first time racing there. I'm also unfortunately referring to the 05 IndyCar race, which many people to this day regard as the Formula One race, not the IndyCar race. The Formula One race here in 2005, which unfortunately has been known as the U.S. Grand Prix and the worst Formula One race of all time, as many say and claim it to be. So Indianapolis has seen some of the absolute most memorable races, and then some of the most unbearable races, I guess you could say, in its time. There's one thing you can never do to the Brickyard, it's take it down. It is an absolute perfect mess. It's an absolute perfect race here. And Mike's saying first race was in 2000 and said and last race was 07. Yep. Sounds about right. And he also said 2005 ick. Well, Mike, I gotta talk about the good and bad. I can't just keep praising everything and make it sound like it was all peaches and roses. We never hold back on this channel, we know that much. But we love talking with you guys in the chat as well, so feel free to comment away. I don't just gotta talk to Mike, I can talk to everyone else here. Love hearing from our fans and our crew and everyone. It's great to have everyone back on board and showcasing them out here as we watch GOAT Racing make their television debut. Next week, though, of course, we're going to see them really rally around the track and rally their spots up, as we will be sending our way down into Daytona International Speedway. It should be a good one here. Back to the green flag, here we go. Field will march their way off. Mike, I'm not sure about that last part, by the way, considering what it did to the 05 race, but we'll talk about that later. Bill Hales right now looking to bring the 53 back to the field. He qualified 5th, falls to 9th. Making their way through the change here, looking for lap number 46 for our stage break. And again, when we get closer to that, I guarantee a lot of guys will start to really push and come to shove here, making every round or move they can just to try to hang in there. Points are critical and necessary, especially if you're out of that 16 level playing field. 23 drivers coming into the field here, ready to bring out their best and absolute most great shot-making performances here on the racetrack, and you're seeing a lot of it here. Cameron DeRue right now currently staying right behind old Dudleyville Dudley and the 49 machine. Robert Dudley in that 49 Toyota Camry has been known to keep his Mercury machine always in that round and in that scouting position, but again, you can see he's got company coming up. This is the pass for the run. Shoot it from the inside out, but Dudley nearly getting clipped around there. DeRue catching a piece of him. Has to back off as DeRue defeats him out in the offensive maneuvering until he slams that whoop. It's actually coming through. That's coming through 3. No damage seems to have been taken there. Oh, but a huge hit there by Michael Strickland, the Mountain Dew 88 Chevrolet. He takes a wild little hit coming off of 4. That right side, I guarantee you, does not feel too good, and I guarantee you it's not going to be holding up much longer if he keeps pulling that little shot out of the dark. What a hit there, to say the least. Field firing all cylinders here. Schomburg in the 95 currently keeping his RBS machine ahead of the 94 and Justin Reynolds, or so he thought. He'll get crossed up 3 wide, slow down the back straightaway. Brandon Burkhart, Charles Van Schaik, and even Russell Ottaway having their way right now, as Burke's mistake is their gain. Beautiful maneuvering and beautiful passes through the corners. Just some absolutely wild performances so far. Our race officials currently watching on as these drivers continue to battle with all they've got and then some. The 12 of Aaron Jackson here, and that trying to stay right in the top 10 bracket. He started 4th though in this field. Pit stop maybe not quite what he was hoping for, maybe not where he was wanting to play it out from, and knows he's going to have to start making some moves here. Mike Wayne Robinson saying this race is actually awesome as, I'm not saying that last part, but as it gets, I'm going to just put it as. Mike Wayne Robinson saying also hashtag bring back the Brickyard. You ain't gonna hear any just any negative points made from that one. I agree, bring it back. No disagreements from me here. I will say that right here at the end of the day is bring back the Brickyard. I'd love to see them run down the oval again. Honestly, I thought that was a crown jewel race. It's like Pocono. I mean, people miscredit Pocono for what it's worth, and everyone thinks that it's always supposed to be a certain level of speed, a certain level of racing, but really, have we forgotten like what some of the tracks actually mean on the schedule? The IndyCar was all about trying to deal with the performance and also with the strength and endurance that you have to face against in your car as well on yourself. And Pocono is the exact same thing. But I guess as we've kind of grown to modern NASCAR relations, that has changed the playing field. That has changed so many regards. I don't know though. I think maybe it's time they bring it all back. I think it's time they really kind of look at it and say, well, it is time to bring it back. It is time to go back to that route. I don't know. You guys tell me in the comments section because I already got one that's going to agree with me. Also, race fans, if you are new to the channel here, we do ask if you'd like to follow us up here on Facebook. We have many, many great races that we produce and product here. Some famous names come by once in a while, and some names from yesterday's to today. Always stopping by here from all different types of motorsports to your local track, short track heroes, to your local racers, and even some top quality NASCAR names have popped up from time to time. Even some country artists or two. Tim Duggar, I hope you're listening in, bud. Great, we miss you here on the show. Right now, though, currently running this field down and keeping his lead at bay, playing some good defensive and keeping his offense at bay is the 78, Joshua Brock. He is currently your race leader. And he's held on that lead for quite a while here, keeping McClenny behind him for a time until I had to give him the broadcaster curse. Here comes the 05 to his inside. This is going to be a tight little spot here. This is what makes it so difficult to maneuver. You got to make that tight pass off of 3. Good maneuvering by McClenny, and Brock able to counteract him. Great drive off. Brock staying with him. You can just feel the power, you can feel the momentum, and everything's starting to really sway off. Brock, though, on a more worn-in kind of bent set of tires here, struggling. 7 laps older tires, not going to last long here with guys with 7 laps more. 7 laps to spare from the number 88 is Strickland and McClenny. Good battle up ahead and battle up front, but still there are some other drivers currently staying in close regards and close proximity here. Looks like some problems down there for Brad Dove, unfortunately, at 25, not able to get into pit road. Looked like he might have had a problem kind of entering in and getting through there, and that might end up actually costing him more than he realizes. Christoph Hall in the 98 here, currently staying in the Home Depot 98 Chevrolet Camaro up to the tee and up to the point, looking to put up Brandon Burkhardt's objection here. Remember, at 90 laps in this race here, a lot of shot making, a lot of crucial marks needing to be hit. And with that focus so deadlocked, so on target and pinpointed with extremely serious accuracy, there's only one way to really get around it. And speaking of one way to get around it, how about this, race fans? I'd say it's about time we stop talking for just a minute. We let the drivers do the talking. You know what time it is. Let's bring it down to the track and into the cars. It's time to crank it up. Yes, you feel the power, you hear the noises, you hear the roar. These Gen 7 cars know how to put up a fight and put on a performance here. That's exactly what we're up to here. On board here with Robert Dudley here is currently the 49 sticks it to Joseph G in that 47 machine here. He is currently holding him up in terms of the top 5 scope. But Joseph all day long looking to be a favorite here. He's been solid and he's been keeping it nice and tempoed, evenly paced. I think honestly it might be a bit of a challenge here to really get around him. And I think a lot of these guys are starting to figure that out. Field's starting to run its course here, looking like maybe some drivers have burned themselves out just a little bit more than the other. Cameron DeRue seems to be one of them. The Bogart currently entered into pit road here. Looks like he's going to try and get himself squared away here. Some tires and some fuel, hoping for the best as we're closing in on lap 46, the stage break. That stage break again, folks, that is an equalizer. That will bring everyone back to the pack, closer together. It will make for a more interesting little scenario and circumstance to really have to put up against. Take a look at this here, entering in through turn number 3. Here comes the Big G. Joseph G making a great fight. Oh no, he can't quite hold it though. Car gets loose off of 2 and he loses a lot of traction now. He's going to have to face up against 2 heavy hitters, Rocky Utting as well as Robert Dudley coming up on his tail. Joshua Brock entering into pit road now. He'll square himself out. Budding trying to stay ahead in that Pepsi Cola 2 here. Joseph G, the big G, currently now about to be sat down a few spots and maybe having to rethink his strategy a little bit. That was a mistake he made. That was certainly something he's going to have to figure out later. Whoa! And Cody Sturgill in the Star Wars 24 losing a lot of ground there off of turn 2. Rear end kicked out from underneath him quicker than my legs get kicked out underneath me in a leg day at the gym. Hashtag chicken legs here on your announcer today here, guys. I apologize in advance. I'm not quite as buffed as people may think, so let's just leave it at that. But nevertheless, I'll tell you one thing that is starting to be buffed out, really starting to spread out a little bit, and that is that 2 of Udding and the 18 of Cameron DeRue in terms of scope and how far they are from one another, because the big G, Joseph G, is currently dealing that 2 a hand that he cannot get around or nor play out momentarily until they entered in a turn number 1. Great comeback here from the 2. And now Udding, by the way, hard charger of the night so far. 10 spots up. Started 14th. He's moved to 4th. Good little work around here. Coming through turn number 3. We'll enter off through to turn number 4. Bill Hales in the 53 side by side with Dudley. Old Dudleyville not looking to be thrown into the tables. He wants to slam them into the tables. And he'll get his opportunity later because he's going for pit road. The 49 looking for a little bit of a workaround as we're going to go 3 wide down the front stretch for a minute. Charles Van Schaik not holding back, but he kind of slowed back a little bit, falls back in line, doesn't want to do too many crazy things just yet. That would have been a very big move and a very tough little strategy call there if he went for it. But he didn't, and thankfully he managed to keep himself in one piece. Not only keep him in one piece, he also gets to keep his position up ahead. Falls right up ahead of Bill Hales now. Hales having to fall into his dirty air. And again, it's kind of take and go, the slingshot effect being in full use. Again, drivers, once they line it up and hit that spot, hit that sweet spot, if you will, that's when they can rev up the motors and let these things roar ahead. And that's what they are doing at tremendous speeds and tremendous velocity. Some great moves coming from these guys. Christoph Hall in the 98 here, back at it here with the 89 of Russell Ottaway. Ottaway trying to keep himself under control. You can see the big red, white, and blue flagging around here. He is a little bit loose and a little bit worse wear on the Mobile 1 circumstance for the Toyota Camry Cannon. You thought I was going to say the Tundra again, didn't you? Nope, I managed to keep myself, kept myself that time. Some gnarly little performances here and some absolutely crazy racing from these guys. There is just so much going on, so much at stake, and they know it too. Entering into the front straightaway here, past our cameras here, past the stands, 100,000 in attendance here watching on, many more watching from home. Running right through there, you see Aaron Jackson currently in the 12 having some real estate being taken over. Oh, but a huge little kick up there in turn number 2, slamming in the wall. And Cody Sturgill catching a big chunk of him there as Mark Rodingen again troubles, trying to save it. Nice save there by Rodingen. Rodingen doing a great job saving the car there from natural disaster and problems on the track. We're closing in on our final laps here, folks, but we got to take a look at this one. Caution will fly on out. The stage has come to a break there as we were just about to show our little replay here. Stage break is over, but here's what happened. Came off turn number 2. Watch Sturgill loose off the corner at turn 2. Has claimed 2 drivers so far, but the right front completely bashed in there on Ottaway's car. Was able to at least bring it back around, but under what circumstance and situation, Rodingen, boy, he got a huge break there. Or Rodingen, excuse me, not Rodingen. I don't forgot about that E in there. Sorry about that, Rogan. But here's one last look at it here. Watch this. He sees what happens. He's trying to avoid trouble again. He's already been through this once before. Stays out of the wall. He's in the grass. Opens up his own lawn care service. Then he tries to play a little drifting. A little drifting on iRacing never hurt, but I don't think it would help that tires very much if you ask me. Wow. That is the end of stage 2. And again, we just literally ended stage 2, which means we've got one more stage to go. This is the final stage now here at the brick house in the Brickyard. You would think some of these drivers are literally brick houses in their own right for how tough and how handedly they've been able to hold themselves together. And Cade McGlenny, the 05, showing them all how it's done so far. But can he continue that dominance? We'll head them all down to pit road here. Well, it's time to see who can come out of pit road the quickest here. Richard Crane looking to just get some laps back if he can and try to get back into this mess. Into this race, into this mess. Oh, what you will. Some of these guys, they would say it's a bit of a mess there in turn 2 for how difficult it's been just to hold on. Pit road out, and McClenny will just barely beat Strickland out there, but it looks like the two of Ricky Udding going to make a great charge here as well. As Christoph Hall will take over 14 spots, which means he is now our Hard Charger Award winner so far. He is currently in 6th. He started back in 20th. Imagine that, being able to come back from all the way from downtown and be able to pull this one out. Race fans, also just a reminder, if you haven't heard the word, you haven't heard the news, tomorrow night, doubleheader from us here on Pete Race TV. If you didn't see our video already, you know Pedal the Metal Racing League has a challenge ahead of them. As we'll take them down to Iowa Speedway with the trucks, with those Gander Outdoor Truck Series for one more leg up before a week off. And then right after their coverage, we bring to you the toughest and the baddest of a Next Gen Series again in the Shake and Bake Racing League, and see who will be able to outperform and outsmart the rest of the field. It should be a hot one down there. It should be a great battle in terms of performance and scope for these drivers. So indeed, the final stage has come to the field. The drivers are now ready to go. Their last ditch effort, their last overall shake in this performance level skill-based race will take these guys to some new levels and some new heights. Who will be able to bring it on home? We're about to find out. Here in Indianapolis, we have conquered the first 2 stages. Some wild positions and moves being made throughout. but there are far few in between from the final stage where things can get extremely stacked, racked up, and packed up on these drivers' ends. These next gens, the Gen 7s, have been extremely an enigma to these guys and has not been able to really be solved in terms of puzzles and strategy here. We're about to find out if these drivers have what it takes to continue this reign and crazy town of racing. It's time to bring the next gens back to life once more here off of corner number 4. Field stacked, ready, and packed. Down into corner number 4 this time on by. Here we go. Off the legs, off the ends here. These drivers now have got the crowd in the palm of their hands. They have the chance of a lifetime bringing home into victory lane, but who will it be? We're about to find out now. Green flag is out. Somebody's taking it home at the Brickyard. Coming right off the edges here, down through the corners here, off of turn number 2, backstretch. It will be Cade McClenny, Michael Strickland, Joseph G, Rick Udding, and Aaron Jackson, currently your top 5. Bracketed up here, and I'm on down here. You can see everybody looking for position, looking for some real estate, and trying to find some land to call home. Sad day for them, though, is they have nowhere to escape and nowhere to hide to. Sean Burke in the 95. 8 spots up. He's making a charge back to the front here. He got tired of being the outhouse. He wants to try to make his way through a bit of Congress into the real estate home of the White House. And speaking of trouble, though, the number 49, Robert Dudley. First time we've really seen a glimpse of problems for him, and I think he might have a problem with that right front wheel. I think he might not be locked in completely. You saw smoke coming out of it as he entered in turn number 1. I don't know if he can't quite get a grip of it or something has gone wrong on the Dudleyville camp, but that is not what you would expect here from his racing style and his background here. Laps in right now. Christoph all in the 98, still 14 spots up. Now comes the fight with him and Aaron Jackson as the 12 scoots it back to the wall. He'll find his round in there as well with the draft pushing him ahead. Just like we've seen so many times before. Look to work your way around traffic. You look to throw the slingshot passes. You look for any kind of opening or any kind of setup you can to make or break this race. That's exactly what we're getting right now. Here's we bring him back on the back straightaway. Look at Strickland. Look at McClenny. McClenny, he's on defense. He's trying to get him off that draft, get the dirty air to coincide back on Strickland. But Strickland able to outmatch him, maneuver him into the turns. Battle for the lead, battle for position. The Mountain Dew 88 taking it right to the 05. McClenny not giving an inch. He gets him. Oh no, they bump and run off of the front stretch. They're bumping and banging there off the edge. Both drivers side by side trying to get that leader spot. McClenny holds on. But for how long? Strickland trying to get back to him. He can't get to him there. McClenny, absolutely impressive display of race and control on the 05. And Strickland now having to find another way to get past his opposition. What a battle there. Joseph, the big G right now in the 47, looking to try to gain some ground as well up to the leaders. After that impressive, just raw performance and display of battle in there from them coming off the corners. Now comes the overall wear and tear of those tires as well as the draft being thrown on. Strickland knows that he's going to have to work as fast as he can around McClenny. This is some serious pushing and drafting around for it. Like Wayne's saying, I'm ready for the finishing touches on this place for iRacing. I'm ready for the dirt track. I'm presuming he's talking about the Indy dirt track, which is not too far off actually from here, or IRP if you guys know what that is. 54 laps now completed. We are just down to the final 36 laps remaining in this race as they come across the stripes here. No one has given an inch. Everyone throwing all their weight around. Maybe most more though than the race leaders, as well as the pack of the pack in the back. But you can see the gaps and distances starting to change. We've got a 3-car battle for the lead right now. McClenny fighting for everything he's got though. Strickland giving the wall a little kiss, and not a kiss on the bricks just yet. He's trying to fix that. Mike White saying turn 3 dirt track for the BC39. Well, I'll take your word for it. That's all I can say there. The MCBR McClenny machine right now currently trying to get Strickland off his tail. Look at him how far he's going down. He's really going to the inside wall, trying to get him off that ramp. This is what happens in the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. When you get that car tracked down, you are trying to block and defend them off as much as you can, but you run out of real estate eventually. That block there, extremely hard to master, but it's because you still have to get the corner set. In turn number 1, he knew it, but he was able to fight him off there. The RBS number 94 Ford Mustang and Justin Reynolds coming right for the 12 of Aaron Jackson. Jackson kind of giving me a little bit of that Action Jackson vibe to him. I think we might have to give him the old nickname and the moniker. Been putting on some great action despite being 3 spots down from his qualifying position. He hasn't exactly not given us a show here. He is bringing the guitar strings. He has revved up the air guitar and gave these guys a little bit of a rock show to be had, if you will. Oh, look at this here now, too. Looks like Christoph Hall getting punted, getting bumped, getting nudged. He's the 18 of Cameron DeRue right now, looking to make the pass. Hall goes wide. Oh, good. Let's the side there off the edge of 2. Oh, my goodness. This is absolutely furious racing in Stage 3. The final stage and the final marker. These guys not holding back. This is exactly what we wanted to know with the next gens. Could they do it and could they put on a show? My answer to that, a resounding yes. They can, and they might just be able to do it all the way to the end. This is some absolutely tremendous performance by these guys. Huge bump into that 12 of Aaron Jackson. Action Jackson getting a nice little tag from Justin Reynolds. Looking to get his way around that 98 Home Depot machine of Christoph Hall, but Christoph not able to give him, well, not able to, I mean, not willing to give him any openings there. Christoph blocks and defends. Great driving on that end. Everybody else behind him moving through the chains, moving through the runs. McClenny still trying to deal with Strickland here. Strickland had a chance there actually going into the turn. As you can see, that little battle there, he was able to actually smooth his way into the inside. Wasn't quite able to clear him. So had to back off again and save up his equipment. But I guarantee you late in this race, well, let's just say I resoundingly will say that we may have ourselves a little bit more fenders put together. Side by side now, Dudley is currently trying to fight his way back up, but Sean Burke kind of stopping him dead in his tracks, as well as Charles Van Schaik. Brandon Burkhardt coming through. Going to top it on the outside. He's trying to make a pass on both of them here as they get stuck in the dirty air. As you can see, again, that snap lock steering, we talk about it constantly. It is extremely difficult to master. It's extremely difficult to work around. It involves precision and timing. It's not like you're all of a sudden just kind of swinging the wheel one way and the tires aren't turning. The tires in the car are turning because that rear end differential and the overall body of the car will allow it. The bottom of the car actually with the diffuser is allowing the rear end to actually maneuver on its own, so that in turn makes it much more difficult for the car to not be able to hang into a turning into a corner. But the problem is that front steering also has to work with some actual leverage and differential, making it much more difficult to actually keep steady and on pace when you're swinging it way too hard left or way too hard right. You've got to be nice and smooth. The smoother you are with this car, the better control you have at your disposal. You guys know it right now. That's why you see so many of them just being ever so slightly entering in those turns with that steering right into the game. Jackson right now trying to keep Reynolds behind him, not looking for any chances at losing this race out. He's currently trying to get to the top 5 though. Cameron DeRue here. DeRue currently has been doing an absolutely tremendous performance here in the 18. Stayed in the top 5 for a good majority of this race and really kept everyone on their toes and on guard. But you can just see how late into the game and how late into the position everybody has thrown themselves into. It's getting very, very difficult to hold on and hang out there. Mike Wayne saying this battle man, and then also saying be a smooth operator. I am sorry, I will put my coins in the jar, and I will make sure to pay my copyright royalty strike on that one. I am sorry, P2 Racing TV. By the way, also, folks, if you have not heard, we will have this race up on the YouTube end. If you're watching on the YouTube end, first off, thanks so much for coming on board, and be sure to subscribe here on our channel. We do have live coverage come onto the show once in a while. Do not fear, I promise you, YouTubers, we will have the live action coverage on the Friday night scene here with the Misfits iRacing League, as well as maybe down the road a few other leagues if they intend to. That is all on them. As we say, the driver's choice and their league's choice, I should say, to get it where they want and where they like. And yes, we are still looking to trying to get them back on YouTube and Facebook Live on the same time, but as you guys may have heard already, we've been having so much troubles with that still. It's been a hard road to even get that figured out. Strickland and Joseph G right now is continuing to do battle for second. One of them wants to get to McClunny first, but which one may it be? It looks like Strickland abusing the tires way too much earlier. I talked about it again. I'll say it and I'll say it once more. You just can't abuse and overdo some of these corners and overdo some of these race ends of the track, because eventually that car will get very unsettled and very hard to work around. And I think Joseph G has shown him exactly how difficult it can be. He's still trying though. He's not giving up. He's not going to fight it. Not going to let him off that easily. But not enough aggressive blocking and not enough room will give him that opening to steep. Joseph G behind. Joseph moves into the second spot. The 47 has now regained position and traction. Speaking of traction off the track and on the performance level, the 83 of Brandon Burkhardt dealing with Sean Burke in the number 95. As Robert Dudley kind of falls further and further back behind the Oasis. Joshua Brock, the 78, surprisingly a lap down here. Kind of amazed by that, considering earlier on he was actually leading a good chunk of this race. But it seems as though the gremlins affecting the furniture roadside for the 78, and he knows it too. Even the 89 here, Russell Ottaway here, a couple laps down. Again, a lot of it I gotta believe due to just strategy as well as pit road entry and exits. Really lost a lot of time, lost a lot of angles to really shoot for and go with. .26 laps remaining here on P2 Racing TV, fans, and we are just getting this season ending coverage, closing out, and making sure you guys get nothing but the best of the best here. And that is what these guys are up to. Everyone jockeying for position, everybody looking to try and hammer home a possible chance, a possible opportunity at making it into the playoff bracket and into the final races of the season. And speaking of making it a chance and possibility, it looks like trouble down there for Strickland. He is in big trouble too. Off turn 2, the same corner that's gotten many of these guys earlier on. Affects him now, slamming the wall protection. There is a lot of problems going on that right side of the car with the 8-inch Strickland. He's got to find a way to get into pit road and get that fixed as soon as possible, or he is going to have absolutely no chance to go at it with McClenny. But even then, is he going to even go into there? Is he going to try to run the fuel run out? Again, we talk about it time and time again. Fuel runs, tire runs, extremely difficult to master. But when you get it done right. It is a peak and a thing of beauty, to say the least. Aaron Jackson, Charles Van Schaik, as well as Cameron DeRue right now just absolutely going head to head and fighting for survival, fighting for an opening, really just fighting for anything they've got and hoping for something not too crazy to happen here. Now positioning back, look at Christoph Hall, the 98. You see the Home Depot machine making a run there at Cameron DeRue. DeRue trying to hold him down while the 53 of Bill Hales currently pushing, shoving, and charging as much as they possibly can here. There's no other way to get around it, folks. Once you lose that draft or you lose that position, then it becomes a fight for survival. And Christoph very well aware of that. He moves back into the top 10. He's in 8th right now. Bill Hales will follow behind Cameron DeRue right into the mix. And Brandon Burkhart looks like he's going to get himself an opportunity to start making some runs with these guys. Mixing it right past, 3 wide salute. Cameron DeRue throwing everything under the bus here. The tremendous 4-car battle coming from the top 10 into the 7th and 8th slots respectively. Excuse me, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th I should say. Running it right through, running it right down the end, and this is actually what we were thinking. Were they going to go into pit road? And they are. Cade McClenny goes in. Justin Reynolds stays out. He'll be your new leader. Joseph G. Ricky Udding go in. Robert Dudley, Michael Strickland, they're all going for pit road, but Justin Reynolds going to play a very, very tight little strategy here. He's going to push his limits. He's going to push himself to the nearest end of the bargain. The RBS 94 looking to keep the lead. And he sees Charles Van Schaik right behind him. He's trying to get his draft off him. The draft and the pole are going to be extremely prohibitive and very tough to gain and gather here. Man, what a day. What a performance. Every single one of these drivers showing you what they can do on these 2.5 mile long tracks. And again, they got to throw it down at Daytona next week. We will see that live here on PC Racing TV. Entering into pit road now. Everybody going in, going for broke. Richard Crane, the only one that has stayed on out. He's going to pit road now, which means McClenny, Joseph G, and Rick Udding are currently in a hot spot, trying to catch back up to the field. It's a race and a rush against time here, getting in and out of pit road. They're hurrying. Aaron Action Jackson will be in the furthest stall up, but McClenny has already jumped to the front stretch here. He's coming right ahead of him here. Jackson's getting his right side tire, left side tires on, and the 18's going to rush out here. Cameron DeRue going to go for broke. Justin Reynolds falls behind. They're going to try to catch him, but it's not going to be enough. Kay McClenny regains the lead. And now the madness continues on. Joseph G, a lap less of a tire there, but that could be, oh no, that could be trouble, as we just thought it might be. Caution is out. And Brandon Burkhardt, the 83, is locked and stuck on the front straightaway here, fans. He is not going anywhere, but first off, what the heck happened here and how did this come to be? What caused this scenario? Oh, right there, you see he got on the gas way too hard and way too quickly. Try to back out of there and get out of the way of the drivers while also not trying to give him a speeding penalty, but then that's where the trouble lay. Got himself trapped between a rock and a hard place, and he had nowhere to go. The drone cam will tell you all here. As soon as he got out of pit road, you can slam the gas. Nearly avoided a couple of guys. My word. That was close enough as it was. Almost took one of them with him. They can see one part is on the asphalt, one is stuck on the grass, and there was no getting around that. Gets trapped, and this race is all but done. Tough break for Brandon Burkhardt. And speaking of tough breaks, I don't think anybody in the stands is not looking down on that 0-5 right now with maybe just a little bit of concern, because now McClenny and his team, despite having a good pit stop and a good strategy here, they've got to go one-on-one with everybody back in this field and stacked up again. David McNeil coming on board. He's saying this is going to get good. Oh, yes, it will. Could get a little bit wild is what I'm thinking. They will have the restart, I believe, 16 laps to go. Those that didn't go into pit road now have a chance to get in and out and try to hope for the best here and hope for their luck to be had. But man, oh man, oh man. Nobody is sitting down right now. Everybody on their feet, ready to see what happens next. Mike saying, let's hope for a classic Brickyard finish. Well, we might just get it here. You may have remembered earlier on today, we saw an absolute clinic at the end with an incredible fashion finish there by AJ Allmendinger to win it out at Talladega over Sam Mayer. Will we see Kay McClenny become a Sam Mayer here and be taken down by an Allmendinger? That's going to be one question. We'll have to find out, and I hope I didn't give McClenny the old broadcaster curse there for saying that. Mike saying knock on wood. I'm sorry, Mike. I do it every now and then. He's saying he's pulling for him, though. Okay, well, again, I probably just gave him the even worse jinx than I did not mean to do. We will double file, restart them up, send them their way. Race fans, this is a very, very big step that these drivers are about to face. Streaming down the back stretch setup. We have set the field, we have set the tone. Now how do they react? From the pit stops late into the race to the strong showings by those involved earlier, the Brickyard is about to come alive. 16 laps to the distance, finishes this one out. Who will be able to win this race? This field is not waiting. They are going to pile them up quick, and they're going to stack up quickly. They're ready. The pace car will exit off the front straightaway, back into pit road. The flagman stands high above, awaiting the command, awaiting the signal. We are ready to go. It is green flag racing at the Brickyard. 16 remain. Managing the gas, awaiting the shots. McClenny wanting to get away quickly. Joseph G looking to catch up with them. Justin Reynolds on 94 working his way with Cameron DeRue as well. The field is stacked up, they are racked up, and everybody using their power, using their positions and specialties at full display. No one is left safe. Joseph G letting McClenny get comfortable. He is letting him try to get situated out. Let him burn the tires up. Let him set himself up. He's got two cars behind him. He can use as a draft partner and a draft pack if he has to. He knows what he's at. He knows what he's doing here. But the question is, can he execute when he's needed to most? It's time to take a look at our lap times here, and you can see lap 75, that was a bit of a long shot there. Lap 76 will tell another tale. Joseph G right now currently is in a master class position with 14 laps remaining. Let's see if he got any ground on McClenny. I'm going to say yes. Yes, he did. But also, look at the time. That was the best time that McClenny has thrown all day long. But for Joseph G, that was the fastest anybody laid down a time tonight. 52.34, fastest of the night. The Big G is on a mission, and McClenny knows it. He's already throwing the blocks. He's trying to get him off that draft. He knows he's coming, and he knows he wants him. The rest of their field right now currently in a hodgepodge battle, trying to hang in there. 14 to go. Drivers are plenty. Drivers are moving in, trying to situate themselves out. Ricky Utting trying to hold on. Oh, there's trouble though for Utting. He's got a problem. The 2 is out. He's down. He's out. I don't know what happened there, but his race is done and over with all of a sudden. What has gone wrong with Ricky? serious contender in trouble there for him, and not what he wanted to see. Man, look at this McClenny. He is just throwing it all the way to the bottom, trying to block him off. Oh, we might have got a chance there. Joseph G, you saw him tap the wall off turn 3. Got a little bit too arrogant there, and the Auto Night machine might have hit the wrong place at the wrong time. The Auto Late needs to get squared away here. He's got a chance. He's got to stay focused. McClenny is in distance. He's in range. And look at this field behind right now, just mashing the gas pedal, mashing the accelerators, just hoping for something to go their way. The field starting to spread out again, starting to let loose and get situated. Ricky is losing a lot of ground here. He is already losing time on McClenny. That hit in the wall may have done more than I think he realizes. You just cannot make mistakes like that. McClenny trying to make him pay for it. We are down to the final 11 laps. Something has got to give. Somebody has got to give this one up. But who could it be? Oh, look at this. Huge run coming from Charles Van Schaick right into turn number 1. A huge draft off from Cameron DeRue. Oh, my word. He flat-footed it. He sent it. And he made it. Cameron DeRue right now probably questioning how the heck did he gain so much speed and power. But that's, again, what we were talking about. That draft is what is making these guys have to maneuver so far around and off from the other end, because they know how quick they can catch you. And as soon as they line it up and they go for the shoot, that's where you really find yourself in a very bad spot and a very tough little predicament. The mid-pack right now currently fighting with themselves and fighting with everything else they've got. These are where those tires burning up, and that tire burn off is starting to phase them in. We talked about it earlier. Those were staying that lay back in the field. They were trying to preserve tires to get set for a huge run or two and trying not to overdo it. 20 laps here is extremely hard on a car and extremely hard on themselves. And they know they cannot be making mistakes like that. Well, there was a mistake, and it was made at the wrong point, the wrong end. The 88 here of Michael Strickland in the way. 3 wide, salute between him, Dudley, and Sturgill. Sturgill right now staying topside. Dudley getting back at it, looking for a top 5. Can Sturgill make the crossover? He'll enter into turn 4, looking for him. He can't get him there. No gives there, nothing to be had. Sean Burke now moving his way through lap traffic. I am not believing 1 minute I am calling Michael Strickland lap traffic, but unfortunately I gotta say it. He's laps down. A bitter defeat for him tonight after performing at a high level earlier. But he knows these guys need to go at their game and go at their fight. He's just looking through. Bill Hales in the 53 going head to head with the 98 of Christoph Hall. Christoph trying to make a drive off into the back stretch, but no room for care, no room to give. 7/10 of a second now separating out the front runners. When the final 5 laps come, we will give you the final 5 look right here. You're on board here with the number 47 of Joseph G. You can just see that little white spot right up ahead of him. McClenny keeping his cool, but looking for his drive off. Is there anything left in the 47, I wonder? We don't know too many things about these guys, and I think right now we're going to learn a lot about them in a minute. Corey Sturgill here, he made a good battle on Dudley, but Dudley looking to throw him back to the tables, deliver the 3D to him. He's going for broke here. Well, he's not going to get it, though. He gets derailed, and Sturgill counterfeits and counteracts him. Although Dudley tries to cross him back in the turn 3. No crossover given there. Aaron Action Jackson watching this on, looking for some openings and looking for his shot in the dark. Oh, but he's gonna overshoot it. He has to back way off the throttle in from turn one. Oh my. Overshot the corner. He almost sent it into the wall protection. The tire gave out. No give there. And now he lost 2 positions for that one. Troubles again for Sturgill. Now Bill Hale's coming right for him. What an absolute wild conclusion we're getting right now between these drivers as your race leader of Cave McClenny is continuing to mash the gas and mound the field. Joseph G with that slight hit into the wall off turn 3 earlier may have cost himself too much time and too much momentum, and he is starting to pay the price for it more as we go. Hale's trying to get the draft to work off, can't quite get it to go. Here comes Action Jackson on the left side, now working his way in the inside corner, working with the number 24 of Cody Sturgill. Sturgill trying to hold him back though. And Sean Burke even too, trying to get himself in that top 10 for his first outing out here in the GOAT Racing League. Absolutely wild, chaotic, and crazy, and some heartbreaks mixed in between. But we just need to get these last 5 laps in, and we'll figure it out from there. We are down to the final 5 laps as Christoph Hall and Action Jackson go out of here. Look at the gap separating McClenny and Joseph G though. That is a huge gap and difference right now. Oh, another tap of the brakes there. Burke going for a huge run, but slams it right in too quick. Couldn't quite get it to sit. That is the overall problem these guys are facing. The struggles and the troubles are getting out of it. Autoway right now currently trying to get back in contention and make things just a little bit more difficult for the other drivers. Knows this race is pretty much all but cooked and done and over with here. Bill Hale, the 53, going to work his stuff up to the 49 of Robert Dudley. Bill Dudley as a Dudley camp currently in a bit of a sweaty little position there. Maybe hands a little bit sweaty, knees weak, arms a bit heavy, I could say. I don't think there is anything else on that sweater already though. Hale's not giving out, not giving in. These top 10 drivers right now currently, they are a bit of troublesome spots. They're currently struggling at the moment on those burnt up tires and those burnt up pieces of equipment, which is something you expect out of them in this case. Onboard camera there, Richard Crane here in the 36. As you can see, he's still closely gowned and closely hiding in the shadows, looking to get to Burke and get to Sturgill if he has a chance or anything left. I don't know if he will. And I'm going to tell you right now, this one's all but McClenny's if he can finish this out. Joseph making too many mistakes, and it is going to cost him. Look at this incredible bounce back position for the 23 Root Ford Mustang of Charles Van Schaik. Charles Van Schaik right now looking for the opening. Can't quite get around Joseph G. Joseph absolutely defending and blocking as much as he can. Charles will not have any of it. Coming around here once again, and Charles bobbled through 4, and now finally Schaik going a great drive off will manage to take over the second spot. Ladies and gentlemen, green flag high in the air. We got 2 to go. Two laps remaining in a podium position on board. Top 3 talk with us at the end of the race. I'm going to be loving to hear what these guys have to say after this one. Absolutely chaotic from start to finish, from point A to point B. There was no gimmies here. Justin Reynolds, my word, this dude is just all over the place. He loses off turn 2 and he still recovers to get it back on. I don't know, it's beyond me how he is able to do it, much less keep that thing under control, but hey, he did it when he needed to. And speaking of doing what they have to when they were supposed to, off of turn number 4, white flag high in the air. The 05 of Cave McClinney is going to clinch the white. He looks for the checkers next time by. Charles and Joseph separating themselves out even further in the field. Distance and ground gain for everyone else starting to lose out. Little battle back here between Dudley and Cameron DeRue for that top 5 spot. It'll go either way here. But for this man, the 05, Cave McClinney, he bounced back from an early little mishap and came through it quick in the clutch. He fought hard throughout, and he is defended with pride and honor. And that 05 Chevrolet Camaro is gonna bring the M. He's gonna bring that 05 Camaro off the corners into the final distance. Finish line, checkers are out. McClinney wins at the Brickyard. Oh, what a huge wreck ensuing right in front of us here in the stands, folks. Big wreck and coming forth. Christoph Hall slammed up here on the front straightaway. A big, massive pile up here. Not sure what the heck happened there or what went down, but we'll have to view that in just a minute. But here, ladies and gentlemen, he is your winner, and he brings it home in a heated final regard and a heated final end to the spectrum. Cave McClinney managing to hold on and put this thing into victory lane. An absolutely wild, wild end for him and his team. And you know what, folks? That can only mean one thing. It's time to not only kiss the bricks, but I think it's time for a little burnout over those bricks. The MCBR 05 parking it right by the bricks so he can swing the tires. Here we go. That's what we were waiting for. What a performance. Well, before we go ahead and talk with our top 3, I have a little bit of business to attend to. Let's find out what happened here on that final lap here between your drivers on the end point. This was your battle for the top 10 final bracket. Watch this. Christoph Hall and Action Jackson getting into it a little bit. Corners put together, cars switched around, everybody just toroing and bashing into each other onto the end. Oh my word. And the funny thing is, they did finish. They did get to come across that line, but not without a little bit of controversy and a little bit of chaoticness mixed into it. I think it is safe to say he is a happy camper down there. Here it is, race fans, your GOAT Racing League final results here. Before we talk at the top 3, here are the results. Cave McClinney wins this one. Charles Van Schaik going to bring it home at second. Third will go to Joseph the Big G. The fourth will go to Justin Reynolds. Fifth to Robert Dudley. Sixth will go to Mr. Bill Hales. Seventh to Cameron DeRue. Eighth to Aaron Jackson. Ninth to Cody Sturgill. And 10th to Christoph Hall, rounding out your field tonight in the top 10 brackets. And a wild day of racing for everybody involved. But now comes our favorite time of the day. It's time to listen in to your top three. He hails in your third place finish here, race fans. He fought hard. He fought for it all. It's time to visit now with the number 47 driver, Joseph G. And Joseph, congratulations and third place finish today. And I'm not gonna lie, bud, I've been saying your last name wrong the whole time, and now I literally just read what it probably is. Is it Grijalva?
Yeah, pretty. It's Grijalva, pretty much. Yep.
Grijalva. Okay, I promise you next broadcast we'll get that dialed in. But Grijalva,
No
man,
worries.
congratulations here on a third place finish, and it looked like this could have been a winner's circle check for you. And as you were putting the boots to McClenny on those last 20 laps, talk to me about what happened there as the car started to fade out.
Yeah, I don't know. I knew I wasn't gonna get it. I was just trying to get a top five. Really, I'm not good at the bigger tracks. The short intermediate tracks are my go-to. But after 15 some laps, it just be really loose, and I couldn't put the power down. So then we just started fading away. It's the whole race practice. It was all like that. I'm not sure if it's just a setup or my configuration, but I couldn't figure it out.
Well, you may not have been able to figure out how to put it in victory lane, but I mean, one thing you can definitely say you can figure out how to do was put up a podium performance and position. I mean, I gotta ask you, man, you had thrown everything to the wire, everything to the end. I mean, how difficult was it for you and this crew just to even get into this podium in your mind?
Yeah, it was a fight for sure, especially the green flag pit stop because the turn in left is so sudden and then you gotta come down at 60 miles an hour. But my biggest concern was pit road. Don't slide the box, none of that. But a bit of mental awareness and keeping calm is what got us at top three today.
Absolutely. Well, nevertheless, congratulations on this podium three for you today. Who do you want to thank?
Absolutely. Thank you again for jumping on. Appreciate it. Can't wait to watch the broadcast replay. Of course, dad, sister, wife, they're always watching all my races. Fans, everybody watching. And of course, Fram Autolite for being the car sponsor. They're supporting my racing habits, and they've been with me for I want to say half a year or so now. So it's relatively new, but I'm glad we can put them up front every week.
Joseph, congratulations on the third place finish, man. What a performance and finish today at the Brickyard.
Thank you, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Joseph Grijalva coming away second out of the bunch today. Now joining on to the stage and joining on to the level here, race fans, and your second spot today, it'll be Charles Van Schaik here. And Charles, again, like I told Grijalva there, I apologize if I'm saying your last name completely wrong, but one thing you did not do wrong was perform at a high level and put this thing into the battle to the end. Great fight there with you and Grijalva there.
Yeah, it felt if I just conserved the tires at the beginning and just kept it low and gassed out, backed the corners up, and yeah, I don't know if I bumped them a little bit or he got loose a little bit, but I went high and I went around them. But yeah, it was we were just talking. The race control was in the waiting room with us. This track definitely should be on the NASCAR schedule. That was a fun race. He said it was just nonstop battles. I can't wait to watch the broadcast. Nonstop battles from first and second to 18th to 19th. So yeah, it was a fun track. I was hoping it was going to be that. I didn't know because there was nothing to go off of. I've never ran here, and I don't think really anyone ran here in this car. So yeah, it was strong. I think a strong performance. I don't want you to be spoiled being your first broadcast, but it was a very strong performance by all 22 guys.
I don't know about being spoiled. I mean, usually Indianapolis is a bit of a troublesome little spot for the broadcast end, but nevertheless, you guys put on a performance, put on a fight there from start to finish. But I got to ask you, Charles, I mean, next week you guys are at Daytona, and if there's one track that's usually action-packed, it's that bad boy. So what the heck are you going to do to be able to take down that track as much as Hurricane Ian tried to take it down?
I'll tell you what, super speedways, I hate them. I'm not good at them. Well, I wouldn't say I'm not good at them. Everyone's good at them or thinks they're good at them, but usually I got the worst luck there. So my whole objection is to finish the race on the lead lap and maybe have a shot at the end.
It'll definitely be a bit of a shot in the dark to see what all goes down, but nevertheless, you're going to come away today as a second place finisher. What do you want to thank for this?
I want to thank you stepping up, taking over the broadcast. It was from what I heard. I mean, I had it running while I was racing, just listening. It sounded awesome. Wanted to thank, credit to drivers, very clean, very respectful. To my admins, Nate, Sammy, who wasn't here tonight, Christoph, Race Control Mike, Robinson. If anyone's looking for race control, he's a pretty good guy to do it. And, the fast lane guys, Ricky, Brandon, and Aaron that are in tonight, and then John and Ron, who raced on Thursday night. But and then the sponsors to the League Global Strategy team, Abin Box, Diecast by Bobby, Jack's Racing Collectibles. I know you had short notice, but I'll get with you with all them. But and Beef Jerky Unlimited. So yeah, it was fun, and I appreciate it, and I can't wait to go back, like Rahalva said, and watch the replay.
For sure there, Charles. Congratulations on a second place finish here at the Brickyard, sir.
All right, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Charles Van Schaik going to go ahead and take this one home down for a second place finish. But we don't talk to runner-ups all that often. We talk to the front runners all the time. And this one will be your winner today. Cabe McClenny is your winner today. No runner-up here for you, my friend. You drive a run straight from start to finish. And I'm just going to start with this. The first lap pretty much told us everything we needed to know about you and how you were going to perform to the end.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely, I wasn't really sure how this race was going to go. I didn't really run any practice. It's not one of my favorite tracks. And I kind of struggle at here. Few races that we run, but it was a blast. This race was really cool between Joseph, Strickland, Charles coming at the end. I mean, this race was awesome. So I'm glad that I ended up joining and running it.
Ended up joining and putting on a great performance and a great little fight out from start to finish and really making and breaking your race from the get-go. I mean, I'm going to ask this real quick too. You had that late caution come on out, and it looked like it was going to bunch you guys up, get you guys in a little bit of an issue here, but you took it in stride and you managed to still hold off Charles as well as Joseph. I mean, how much of a big deal was it to you when you had that caution pop out and how to fight it out with that position?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking about fuel strategy because I think I was only 2 laps clear on it, and I had a 5-second gap, so I was just going to lift and coast, and if they got within a second, then I'd start going, but save a little bit of fuel and try to make it. But that restart came out, and on the first restart, or on one of the stages, I ended up working with Ricky, and he gave me a good shot, so gave me a good shot on that last one and sent me out like a bullet, and I was just kind of gone. So I had to kind of thank Ricky for that one. I don't know what happened to him, but appreciate it, Ricky.
Well, definitely was a night for him and you as well. But nevertheless, Gabe, as we close out tonight at the Brickyard, I must ask, sir, who do you want to thank for all this?
My buddy Doug Ezel, paying for me to kind of run this and convincing me to run all these leagues. And I was in just Discord with Josh Brock, so that was cool to talk to him, and my YouTube channel KO5. So,
well, Gabe, I think you might have earned a few likes and some follows on that end for this performance here, my friend. Congratulations, and we can't wait to see you guys next time on out.
Thank you. Feels good to get the week sweep.
For
Won
sure.
all 4.
You have indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, Gabe McClenny is your race winner at the Brickyard tonight. That will all but do your coverage today here for Go Racing League at the Brickyard. Next time out, it's Daytona International Speedway. Don't worry, we'll get her cleaned up. Hurricane Ian can't keep her down forever. So from there on, then we'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for tuning in to the show, and I'll see you guys next time when the green flag flies.